Good morning, everybody. My name is Darlene, and I have Parkinson's. Today is Make It Monday, and we're coming up to our Thanksgiving weekend here. So I thought that I would cook a little bit early and then post this on Monday so that we could enjoy this for our dinner. I want to point out my daughter has made me a lovely sign here saying Make It Monday so that it can decorate the table area because I don't have much color. And so I will put the recipe down in the description box, but I will also hold it up here if you want to make a screenshot. It's called cauliflower and cheese sauce. It's a recipe my mom used to make. It's a little bit different than the usual cheese sauces, but it's very, very good. So I'm going to see if I can hold this up for a... Now I'm not sure if this is going to be frontwards or backwards because I have to use my old camera today. So things might be a little twisted around. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so I have 2 tablespoons of butter that's melting. I'm doing a very large head of cauliflower. Actually, I'm doing 2 small heads of cauliflower, but I broke it into quite large pieces and just blanched them. I want them partially cooked, but not mush. So I blanched those ahead of time. Now I have melted into my skillet 2 tablespoons of butter, and I have 2 tablespoons of flour, and we're going to mix and cook it. It should sort of look like sand, and it's going to, that's what they call roux. And so it's basically just we're making a bechamel type sauce. Oh, and it wouldn't be me if I didn't forget something. I measured out the milk and left it. 1 second. You can't make a cream sauce if I don't have any milk. All right, there's my cream sauce. Well, not my cream sauce, there's my milk. I've got 10% cream there because we wanted it just a little richer because it's a holiday meal. But if it wasn't a holiday meal, you would just use milk. All right, so let's get this flour going in here. And you don't have to cook it very long. If you don't cook it at all and you just start adding things to it, it's going to have kind of a pasty taste. You know, like we say, flour and water makes paste. So you don't want to do that. But this here, you can see, it's just sort of, I'll lift this up at the edge. See, it's just sort of looking like sand. It's not liquid, and yet it's not solid either. And if you just let that cook for a minute, all that dry flour taste is going to be out of there. And then we're going to add 1.5 cups of milk or 10% cream. Now, if it looks too thin for you, put a little more flour. If it looks like it's too thick, then you just add a little more cream. But you don't want to drown it in sauce, but you definitely want to have, you know, enough sauce. So, and after we've got the cream, then we're going to add a couple spices. I wonder if I should put them in to cook first. I think I will. Salt and pepper to taste and 2 tablespoons of garlic. So I think I'm going to just put that in at this point here with the butter. Now that will thoroughly get it to be dispersed. And you see now it really looks like sand. I may need extra cream because of this, but we'll see. All right, so let's get this added. Now you also don't want to just dump it all the way in, especially if it's like me. I've got cold milk. And I don't want to just dump the entire thing in and have nothing but lumps. And it doesn't take much to get the lumps out. They just whisk it for a minute and out they come. I'm going to turn that up just a little bit because I do want it to heat. So I guess the Canadians, we're all getting ready for a big holiday weekend. And everybody in the south has to, our neighbors to the south have to wait a little bit for theirs. But we're looking forward to it. I've got the family coming by. Everybody's bringing something. And the family's going to come by and we're going to have a lovely, lovely Thanksgiving. Finn's going to get to meet Carl. That's going to be fun for me. I'm a big kid, you know. I really am. I'm just a big kid. Sees something like that and thinks, oh my, that would be good. This might be just the right amount. Let's just see. I think that might be the right amount now. That will thicken a little as it goes. Oh, I near had a disaster the other night. I was cooking spaghetti, went to drain it, didn't have a hold of the pot very good, dumped the boiling water off. I jumped back, I only got just a little tiny splash and no burn, but oh, that was close. I said to Bill, I said, oh, I should have asked you to do that. But anyway, so where am I at here? Slowly add, okay, and we just, okay, now I'm going to show you something that I'm doing. You can add Parmesan cheese to this, but I find I keep in my freezer, this looks so silly, this is a Parmesan rind. I bought it at Sobeys. They're not cheap. I paid $18, but I have a big bag of them that I keep in the freezer. And I kid you not, one piece like this will flavor an entire pot of soup or stew or anything that you want Parmesan flavor. You don't eat this. You put it in just like that. You put it in, and then it will just simmer with that. And then before you serve, then you're going to take it out. All right, now that's going to stay like that. Well, we're nearly done. Just didn't take very long, did it? Okay, so that's going to be like that. Now I want to cook the little bit of cauliflower in that. No, I want to add the cheese first. Half a cup of cheese. So I'm going to put half a cup of cheese in. And then I'm going to add the cauliflower. So, and you're only going to put the cauliflower in for 3 minutes. It's because it's going to go into the oven, not for very long, but it's going to go into the oven to toast up the top. So therefore you really don't want it to be overdone. There's my cauliflower. And you see, you can do this in the morning. Pop it in the fridge, and then just put it into the oven when guests come. It's the easiest thing that you could possibly do. You see how, look at how that's coating that. That is delectable. Okay, I'm going to actually turn this off because I'm going to have a residual heat and I'm not cooking mine straight away. So I don't want it to be overcooked when I do put it in the oven. All right, so I'm just going to stir that up a little bit and put this over here. Now, I've got panko breadcrumbs. You can have any kind of breadcrumbs that you want. We like the panko, but you know what's equally as good as panko is just a bag of cheap potato chips, blitzed up. That's just as good. And then you just take a glump of butter. That's not a very accurate measurement, a glump. And I partially melted it, just like that. And I'm just going to moisten those panko with that. We'll put this on top of the cauliflower when it's in the casserole dish, and it will just make a nice topping for it. And if you've never served this to your family, I do hope that you give it a try, because this is a lovely, lovely dish. I think I do this every time. I don't bring the right spoon. I need a big spoon. I will get this organized one of these days. It's a good thing that I live, in 600 square feet, because I don't have far to go. All right. Now, I guess I'm going to do that right there. And, you could put this on anything. This would be wonderful on asparagus, broccoli. Oh my goodness, a mixture of anything. Do you know what it would also be delicious on edamame. Oh, I love edamame. If you had a little bit of this, some edamame, some quinoa, now I sound like a hippie, but if you had some of those, you'd make a lovely salad with this cheese sauce all going cold in there. You could put in pasta salad. This is a very versatile sauce. If you were making homemade au gratin potatoes, this would be the sauce. I can't wait for the kids to be here. I really can't. While I'm scooping this up, I should tell you a story. See, there's my rind. I'm just going to leave it in the pot, but nobody will get that. I'll take that out before we serve. When my husband and I were first going together, he was going to come over for dinner one night. And I said to him, I said, I hear that, I have never done it, but I said, I hear tell that if you cook with wine or beer or things like that, that it really is a nice flavor for your food. And he says, well, I don't know, I've never done that. So of course, I looked through the refrigerator to see what we had. We weren't drinkers, we didn't have any wine or beer. But anyway, as I was looking through, I found, I don't know how old it was, oh good gosh. Anyway, I found what was called a wild berry cooler. Well, that wild berry cooler probably was good on its own, but you don't put wild berry cooler in beef stew. No, you do not. And I cooked it, and he says to me, he says, what is on this? And I said, oh, I tried like it said with, you know, to put that alcohol on there. And he goes, well, he said, I don't think that they meant to put fruit alcohol. But I do cook with wine now, but at the time I had never done it. Very good. Look at my arm. What do you do when you have a situation like this? Yes, you do. Oh, now I lift my fingers and I have them. Oh, for heaven's sakes, Darlene. I forgot I had to still put that on. All right. Wipe my hands. All right. Now, we're going to just, these crumbs look very white, but don't worry about it. There is butter on there. And when they get into the oven, darn straight they're going to look good. Now, I won't be able to show you what they look like when they come out of the oven, but it's just, they're just brown at this point. But I can't show you that because we're not eating right away. And we like crumbs. Most people wouldn't necessarily put as many as this, but that's the best part when that gets all crunchy and everything else. That's the best part of it. So there we are. Lid on. Ready for the oven. I hope if you're in Canada, you're going to have well, by the time you see this, you will have had a great Thanksgiving. We are going to have a wonderful Thanksgiving, I'm sure. And I've just got some carrots to do next. Have a good day.